What's going on, gang? So, Friday, got a little movement game or challenge or riddle. A little different than coordination, although you have to be, I guess, coordinated to make this happen. But this is going to be similar to what we did in class if you were here on, Wednesday with the tennis ball. What we're going to do here is we're going to play a little balance game, and it's a good exploration into what it means to move with a certain quality. What I mean by that is, there's one way where you can do, let's say, a squat, for instance, where the technical element of a squat is you have to stand all the way up, you have to squat with your hips below parallel, and then you have to stand all the way back up. But everyone who's watched someone move who is very graceful versus someone who maybe is like a newbie at things, there is something different between the two that goes beyond just like the technical aspect of it. Like they both pass below parallel, they both stand all the way back up, but someone who moves maybe with what we would call higher quality, there's something going on there that maybe is difficult to put to words. So we're going to explore something similar with the tennis ball today. We're going to be walking in like a cat crawl position, which is much like a bear crawl with your hips a little bit lower. But it's not enough just to walk forward and walk back or go side to side. There's a certain quality that you have to do the walk with in order to accomplish it with the tennis ball that we have here. So if you weren't here on Wednesday, or if you want to review, I'm going to walk you through it. What you need is maybe some patience or a friend to help you out, but we want to take this tennis ball, and we're going to place it on your back in a position where your knees are bent and then your shoulders and your hips are pretty much level. And so, like I said, it can be challenging to put it on yourself. I'm going to attempt to do it right now. But the idea is to get it resting on your back and then come up into this position. Now you'll find very quickly that this can be a fatiguing position if you haven't practiced it much. So don't feel like it's the end of the world. It's challenging from the beginning. But what I want you to try and do, just as like an initial assessment, maybe this is your whole game, is I want you to go through and try and lift each limb off the ground. So I got both of my hands, then each of the feet individually. And I want you to try and go through that a few times. See if you can reorganize your body such that you don't shift so much and let your tennis ball fall off of your back. There it goes. Like I said, what you'll find is, obviously there's some strength to this, there's some stamina, your muscles begin to burn, but it's as much an organization challenge as it is anything else. You have to find a way to take your body weight, which was maybe evenly distributed between 4 points, and make it distributed between 3 points. And that doesn't just happen by accident. And if you haven't, like I said, explored the concept, it can be something where you realize just how much the body adjusts without even thinking about it. And in this scenario, in this game, we want it to adjust in a certain way so that this tennis ball doesn't fall off. So like I said, at the very beginning, go ahead and get into the little tabletop cat crawl position. Hips and shoulders are relatively even. And try and go through each hand and foot twice, just being able to pull them up off the ground without the tennis ball falling. If and when you're able to do that, the challenge today is to pick a room. It could be in your house, it can be in your office if you want to make some new friends. It could be at the park, but we're looking for kind of like a physical space that has some, nominal distance. We don't want to do a full soccer field, but we also don't want to do something as small as like a bathroom necessarily. But like a point A to point B and then some space there, and bonus points if you have to maybe zigzag through. But we're going to try to walk forward across this space, walk backwards across this space, and then we're going to try and move laterally to the left across the space, and then laterally to your right. And the challenge is I want you to make all 4 of these trips in a row without dropping the ball. If you need to rest between each of them, that's fine. But the task or the game isn't complete until you're able to do all 4 back to back to back to back in a row without dropping the ball. So as you can imagine, the pressure, I guess, to complete this increases as you go because you have higher and higher stake in the game. So you may consider starting with what you feel is the hardest variation and finishing with the maybe the easiest. I'll leave that up to you. But I'll just give a quick demonstration of a few of the moves if you haven't tried it before, what they look like, and then I'll send you on your way. So we'll use maybe the borders of the screen here as my imaginary room. And I guess if I go closer to the screen, it'll be shorter for me, but I'll try and stay here in the middle. So you're going to back up to your edge. Just pretend like this is a wall back here. I'm going to get set up in my start position just like I had balance before. And I want to try and establish the balance first. You can notice that the tennis ball will move a little bit, but my goal is to walk forward now without letting that tennis ball come off. If you were here on Wednesday, you know this is definitely not a speed game. It's just, like I said, a control and organization game. So I made it across my room. My head went through this imaginary wall. So sit here, maybe resting a little bit, and then I'm going to choose to go backwards from that next one. So I'm going to try and get everything up under control, and then begin the perilous walk backwards. So I'm carefully shifting my weight. And I found my other wall. Okay, so far so good. Next one is we're going to move laterally. A lot of ways to do it, but we're going to turn sideways here. Still trying to keep the tennis ball on if possible. We're going to figure out the path that you're going to take, and I mean the game is the same. Now we're going to move side to side, trying to kill some time so I can recover and feel confident I can make it across. But we're going to try and move laterally. You can decide how big or small the steps are that you take. Once you get to one side, I'm going to go back. And relax. All four directions, my room, unbroken, the task would be complete. And I want you to embrace the idea of making this, fun or challenging for yourself. So maybe you do it with a partner, you take turns, going forward, backwards, side to side. Or maybe, you've done this before, or you have some experience, and this is fairly easy to do just like the standard forward and back. Maybe you can set up some obstacles, or even like a path around a room where you have to navigate them in a maybe more organic or creative way. You decide, but taking like 10 to 15 minutes here, exploring this challenge, the whole idea of the weight transfer and organizing your body to support this tennis ball, and have some fun with it. It will feel physical. Don't be surprised if it feels like a workout. I told at least a couple of the classes yesterday, the next time you're going to go, on a trip, maybe for work or something, and you're concerned with how you're going to, work out or exercise, doesn't matter if they have a gym, doesn't matter if there's a CrossFit around. Take a tennis ball, put 15 minutes on the clock, and spend as much time working through this as you can. Guarantee you won't have any need for another workout afterwards. So give it a shot. Post some questions or some comments or some progress with it. Let me know what you think, and have fun. It's Friday.